everyone, Kathy from Kathy's Vegan Kitchen. I hope you're enjoying the recipes. Hit the subscribe button. Today we're making vegan clam chowder. And no, we're not eating clams. Clams are gross. Instead, we're gonna make little mushrooms into clams. But instead of cooking the mushrooms in the soup, we're gonna marinate them and cook them separately so they get a little chewy, kind of like the texture of a clam. So we have 2 cloves of garlic that I minced. And I have 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke, and I picked the hickory kind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top on this, and I'm going to shake, shake, shake. And they need to marinate for 30 minutes minimally in the refrigerator. Now, you can do it overnight if you want, but 30 minutes is good because we're going to cook them in whatever marinade is left in a separate pan, and they're going to be added to the soup after. So we'll be back in 30 minutes. The mushrooms are marinated for 30 minutes, and now in a separate pan, I'm going to cook them. And we're not going to add them to the soup until the very, very end. So what happens is, they get their own flavor and their own texture in this pan, and we just add them in as the clams after. So we're going to saute those. In a second pan, I have 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to pop in the pan. 1 onion, about a cup diced, and I use that vegetable chopper. I did the celery, the carrots, and the onions using the small blade. And then for the potatoes, I did the large blade. And so we're going to stir that around a little bit until it gets fragrant. In the meantime, we're going to do these mushrooms simultaneously. And as these are cooking, we're going to make a little combination with a 1/2 cup of cashews and 3/4 cup of unsweetened milk, plant milk. I use oat milk, but you can use whatever you want. That's the creamy component of the soup. There's other alternatives. If you're allergic to nuts or avoid nuts, you can use flour, a 1/2 cup of flour. You could use silken tofu, or you can use beans. And that's done. We're just going to set this aside until the end as well. And you can see the mushrooms, they have a lot of moisture in them on their own, so you don't need to put any vegetable broth in there. They're not sticking at all in the pan, but you want to cook them completely through, and you want all that marinade to soak into those mushrooms. Okay, so we have the onions going here. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of celery and a 1/2 cup of carrots. I'm going to move that around a little bit. If for some reason your vegetables stick to the bottom of your pan, all you need to do is put a little water or a little vegetable broth in the bottom, but these are fine. I haven't had to do anything, so it's all good. And as these cook, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of white wine. And we're going to turn it up a little bit and let that wine cook down, and it gives the vegetables flavor. Now, if you don't want to use wine, you can use lemon juice or you can use vinegar, or you can skip the wine altogether. It'll still taste good. I just like that extra flavor. And these mushrooms are doing well also. So we want to make sure, if you look inside here, Paul, we want all of that wine to cook down. And as you can see, it's softening the vegetables. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 baking potatoes. And again, I used the large blade. I left the skins on. If you want to skin them, you can, but you really don't need to. I'm going to put the potatoes in there. Stir that in. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of thyme. And I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of flour. I use chickpea flour. I don't care what kind. You can use any kind you want. You want to stir this flour in, and it creates a roux. And you have to continue stirring so you don't get any clumps. and it kind of coats your vegetables with the flour. You don't want any clumps in there, so you need to keep stirring until you don't see any powdery stuff anymore, which, as you can see, it just turned right to a paste, so we're all good to go. Now, I'm going to put in 6 cups of vegetable broth. This is the low sodium, no sugar kind. This box contains 4 cups. I'm going to measure out 2 more. And then give it all. We're going to turn this heat up, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of Dolce. And what Dolce is it smells like the sea. Get it? So you get your cream of the chowder kind of taste. You can use seaweed if you can't find Dolce. I get this at Whole Foods in the Asian section, and it's sold in bags, dried, and it's just crumbled. So it's 2 tablespoons. And then the other secret ingredient is 2 teaspoons of Old Bay seasoning. You can also use any kind of Creole seasoning that you like. And then we're going to pop 2 bay leaves in there. Now, when you cook with bay leaves, you want to make sure that you remove them before you eat your soup, so you don't start eating bay leaf in your soup. And we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to simmer it for 25 minutes, no top on, so the potatoes get soft. And we'll wait for that to boil. Okay, first you want to fish out the bay leaves. They usually float on the top, so they come out easy. You don't want to keep those in there. And then what we want to do is we want to add the cashew cream to the soup. And then we're going to cook that a couple minutes so it will blend up nicely together. See how it changes color and it gets all creamy? And then look at the mushrooms. I cooked them all the way down so there's no fluid left at all. We're going to turn the heat off. We're going to add the mushrooms to the soup. And those are the little clams. And then we're going to add a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper, and the juice of 1 lemon. And then lemon gives it a nice freshness. Whoop, I almost dropped that lemon. We're going to stir it together. Ooh, and it looks like clam chowder. See how thick it got so quick as it heated with that cashew cream? And you want to make sure you cook it until it gets thick. And then we're going to ladle it up. And there you go, vegan clam chowder soup. I hope you enjoy the recipe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.